The Epstein Files. On and on it goes. Welcome to Law and Society. Today's a quick update for you. So on Friday, December 19th, Pam Bondi is statutorily required to hand over all of the Epstein files to Congress and to make them public. Now, Pam Bondi has three choices. First, she just complies with it and releases all of the information while redacting sensitive information that includes the names of victims and survivors and maybe even some other names that they would redact. Then what would happen would be that the survivors would work with congressional members to identify and tell the full story by filling in the blanks of the redactions and pinpointing that, oh, that's us, that's me, that's my story, that's my testimony, and then presented on the House floor by Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna to get the full story out to the public. The second thing Pam Bondi can do is Pam Bondi can publish highly redacted and not all of the evidence and make it more difficult for the public and for the survivors to connect the dots to be able to tell the story of what actually happened to them and where they are identified in the documents. And the third thing Pam Bondi can do is say that I'm not going to release these documents just quite yet. I'm not going to violate the statute, but because these documents are now part of ongoing investigations that the DOJ has opened again based on this evidence, I cannot disclose those documents because it's part of an ongoing criminal investigation. And that would mean that it would be at Pam Bondi's discretion to release those documents when Pam Bondi is finished with the investigations that she opened after she realized that she and the regime had kind of messed up on their commitment to release the Epstein files to their own constituents, mind you. It's not something that the Democrats were all gunning for, but the point of getting these files out and the stories out is so the survivors can get closure, so the survivors can have their stories heard, so the survivors can have measure of accountability. And so the ones who abused these girls and ruined so many lives are held accountable, if for nothing else but just exposed and their names being part of this sordid, ugly legacy of Jeffrey Epstein and people who abused children in Epstein's pedophile ring. So keep an eye out to see what Pam Bondi does on Friday, and then we have to see where we go from there. I would say that there's a 40% chance that she will release some documents and a 50% chance that she's going to withhold the documents, or maybe 49% chance. And the 11 points in the middle is the gray area where I can't really say what Pam Bondi will do. But my feeling is that we may not see the Epstein files on Friday. So if you're expecting to see the files on Friday, I wouldn't get too excited. But this is now a statute. This is now a law that the DOJ has to follow. So Pam Bondi can just keep the investigations going for the next 3 years, and not disclose the information. And that would be within her power because she's not violating the statute. The statute is going up against the prosecutional norm that you do not disclose evidence of an ongoing criminal investigation to the public, that would be destroying the evidentiary structure of a criminal investigation and therefore and then prosecution if they get to that level. So that's where we are with Pam Bondi and the Epstein files. Donald Trump and MAGA Congress has sort of washed their hands off of it, and now it's going to be between the people in Congress who want these documents out, like Massey and Khanna and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert and other Democratic leaders like Pramila Jayapal. And we're going to have to see if Pam Bondi complies with it or not, and whether then the Democratic caucus takes it to court based on the statute and it unfolds in court with Pam Bondi saying, I have ongoing investigations. So that's what it's this going to be this cyclical thing. That's just the feeling I'm getting. But I would be happy to be wrong about, the files. I would be happy to be wrong in saying that we're not going to see it on Friday. And I'd be happy to see them on Friday myself. But I just don't think it's going to be that easy. With that said, thank you for listening. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.